What's going on, people in YouTube land? Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's video. We are in the heat of the middle of Birthday Destruction Week 2017, where I'm uploading a video every day this week to celebrate my birthday, at least one video a day, possibly more if I get really adventurous. And I thought it'd be fun to do a recommendations video because I haven't really done one of those on my channel for anything. I early on in the channel did a beginner's guide to Kiss, for example, and that's kind of a recommendations video in all honesty, but I just wanted to do a straight up recommendations video, and this one isn't really a collection video, even though it's showing part of my music memorabilia collection because of the nature of the content we're talking about. Because when it comes to books, I like owning the book. I don't read it on a Kindle. I don't just want to like hold up a thing that's a little bit bigger than my phone and just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read this. No, it's like reading a long text message then. Don't want to do it. I want to hold a physical book in my hand just like a physical record when I listen to music. And so as a result, today's video is about 5 rock and roll books I recommend. All right, so the first one I'm going to recommend here today is something that should come as no surprise to anyone that's a follower of the channel or possibly just knows me in general, and that would be the Ace Frehley autobiography, No Regrets. Now, this is a wonderful book. It's not as dirt slinging as some of the other Kiss autobiographies, in all honesty, and I'm wanting to make this a series of videos, so believe me, we will get to those down the line, but I wanted to start out with kind of one of the more middle of the road ones. Now, he still talks some crap in this one. That's undeniable, but this is a great book. It's actually written better than you would expect. Now, of course, he had some help along the way, but it's a great book if you like Ace. It's hilarious at times. There's a lot of drunken stories, rock and roll stories, him talking about, of course, being in Kiss, out of Kiss, back in Kiss, everything. And I honestly think this could be a good book even if you're not a big fan of the band, just because, you know, rock and roll stories are interesting at the end of the day. These kind of guys are interesting. That's why we want to read these books. That's why I'm doing a whole video to recommend you these rock and roll books that in this situation all happen to be autobiographies except for one. So that's just an easy one to get out of the way first without going into too many details about it. Great book, No Regrets, Ace Frehley. Pick it up, add it to your collection. All right, the next book we have, spoiler alert, 3 seconds beforehand, is the reason I'm wearing my Billy Idol shirt here. Can you see that Billy is there on my chest? And yeah, it's the Billy Idol autobiography, Dancing with Myself. This is an incredible book. This one's better than the Ace one, in all honesty, as far as a book goes. I'm a bigger Ace fan than I am Billy, and I would honestly just say I'm somewhere in the middle of casual Billy Idol fan. I enjoy him. I got to see him play live a couple years back. He put on an incredible show, but I don't own his entire discography by any, you know, stretch of the imagination. And honestly, I didn't know a huge amount about his life other than that he did have some drug and alcohol problems. And this book, oh boy, does it go into details on those. This is probably the best like PSA ever for not drinking and drugging and doing crazy stuff. I mean, this guy almost killed himself multiple times over, including like bike wrecks and crazy hijinks. I mean, the opening lines of this book I'm not going to read on camera here because YouTube doesn't like really filthy content anymore, but literally the opening page of this is just a debaucherous situation in a studio when they were recording a record, and you just kind of read it and you think to yourself, how is this even a thing that was happening in a place of business? This is an incredible book, and it really just goes to show you that, you know, no matter what level of fame you're at, you can have problems. Because honestly, his problems with the drugs and the drinking and everything started very early in his career, and they continued on even to the heights. And you know, he survived to tell the tale. We all know that Billy Idol's still alive, and this is just an incredible book. You gotta check out Billy Idol, Dancing with Myself. This one, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you smile, and honestly, it'll just make you kind of feel bad for the guy at sometimes. Great book, check it out. All right, and next up, breaking the kind of classic rock trend we've had in the beginning here, we're going with one about a more modern musician here. We're going with Tranny by Laura Jane Grace. Now, if you're not familiar with Laura Jane Grace and Against Me, basically Against Me is a punk band that a lot of the punks hate now, but they've seemed to start to like them again now that Laura Jane Grace, who was formerly Tom Gable, has came out as Laura Jane Grace. Yes, a trans punk rock singer, hence the name of the book. And this is just just a really enlightening book, a really, again, sad at times, kind of a recurring theme with these, but for different reasons. Now, Laura does admit things about drug and alcohol problems and things like that, but really the focus of this book is all of her gender dysphoria that she's had, you know, a majority of her life, and just the insecurities that she had and things like that. And I usually don't like those emotional blah 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 kind of things, but this book does it really well. And it's just interesting to know how much it has bothered her too, with the fact that so many of their fans have abandoned them through the years when they've like signed to major labels or done this or done that. And the fact that she never really thought they were doing anything that different musically, that from day one they wanted to be a great band, a huge band, sell a lot of records, make a living doing music. What a concept, punk rockers, right? Making a living with your art. A lot of punk kids don't get that concept, and you can tell in this book that she came from a background of hating those people, hating the people that did want to make a living from it, but quickly learned that, you know, making art and making money at it is not a bad thing. It's not a bad trade-off, guys. And that's what this book is about. It's about, you know, gender dysphoria, depression, and coping with being a sellout, essentially. And you know what? She's a better person for it, and I don't really care what anybody says. I think Against Me has stayed very consistent through the years, if not getting a little bit better, in all honesty. I mean, they're definitely better musicians at this point, if you want to talk about technical prowess, and whatever. Great book. Check it out if you're interested in this kind of thing. And next up, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because I'm adding another Kiss book in here. I was going to try to keep one book per band or per artist or something along those lines, but this one's really good. And it's not an autobiography per se, but it's like kind of more of a memoir, a recollection of the early days of Kiss. It's called Nothing to Lose, and it's written by Gene and Paul, as well as Ken Sharp there. I think it's more Ken Sharp, honestly, doing the writing, and they were doing more of the recollections. And oh boy, is this a good book. Look at it, it's a thick one. It's a very thick one compared to some of the others, and I read it so quick. It is so good. There's so much information about the early days of Kisstory in here that if you're a hardcore Kiss fan, you probably knew some of this stuff, but even as one myself, there were things I learned from this book. And mind you, of course, it is Gene and Paul putting it out, so it's a little bit skewed, just a hair. But with that being said, there's some very interesting things. It's kind of cool to kind of hear about them being a small band in a club setting, you know, driving around the country in like Winnebagos and things like that, and just, you know, not being this over-the-top arena rock band that everyone thinks about them being these days. Very interesting book, very informative. I will say, the one nuance with this, all these books I've recommended before, and the last one I will be doing here in just a second, I think you could read not being a fan of the band and you'd probably enjoy them. This one I do think you maybe do need to be a fan of the band to actually enjoy. Or the other side of it is, if you are a struggling musician and you need some inspiration, this is also good for that, because love them or hate them, we all know how big Kiss became, and they started out in a really bad situation, you know, broker than a lot of us doing music and art today. So good book, check it out. And last up, we have a recommendation from one of my favorite bands of all time that I don't think I talk about on this channel enough yet, but maybe I should start talking about them more, because I love this band. I'm learning more about them because they are a band that until recent time, I didn't really explore their history as much as far as being past the music goes. And this book here is a good starting place. Punk Rock Blitzkrieg, My Life, Ezra Ramon, Marky Ramone. This thing is phenomenal. It's very debaucherous, it's very crazy. Marky was all over the place, the Ramones were all over the place. I learned all kinds of stuff about them that I didn't know, since I don't know a huge amount about their personal lives. I mean, you know, the things about Joey Ramone and his disorders and things like that. And I want to read more Ramones books because I know everything has two sides of the story, but this one's great. The only little this is one of the few books I'll say there is a little negative thing to bring up on it, is that Marky kind of, I don't know, he undercuts, he makes his addictions, whatever, seem not as bad as the other guys, even though he got fired from the Ramones for being too much of an alcoholic, which, you know, that's hard to do in a band like that. But that's the only thing that's a little bit not great on this book. But other than that, this is a phenomenal book, and you really need to check it out. This is one that I think you could enjoy, not even being a fan of the Ramones, because you just get a window into this crazy lifestyle of a drummer in a band that was, you know, right on the cusp of punk rock. Now, mind you, he's not the original drummer. You know, Tommy, of course, was, but he even talks about coming in and, you know, Tommy being involved with the band for basically their whole career. And very, 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 very interesting read. This one has a few comical moments, but it's not as funny as some of these others. You know, the Billy Idol one has some hilarious moments. Same with the Ace. Lars book, not as many funny moments. The Kiss one, not as many, but this one has some funny moments, a lot of serious moments, and just a very interesting read. I definitely recommend anybody picking this up, especially if you are a Ramones fan. And that about does it for this rock and roll celebration, education, rock and roll book, party, all that stuff. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of some of these books, or if you check them out after seeing this video, let me know what you think of them then, or maybe let me know about some other rock and roll books that I should check out. Now, I've checked out a lot more than this, and like I said, I'm going to try to make this a series of videos, so we'll touch on all kinds of stuff with these, but I feel this is a good starting point to kind of let you guys know about some of the rock and roll books that I am into. Notice these were all, for the most part, biographies, autobiographies, things like that, but I kind of want to veer all over the place. There's some cool photo books, some good memoirs out there, all kinds of stuff, so this series will kind of go all over the place, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you've taken this much time out of your day to watch this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell so you get the updates. Again, this is in the middle of Birthday Destruction Week 2017, assuming you're watching it when it's current, so there's gonna be a lot of videos out this week, so you don't wanna miss those. If you enjoyed this one, hit that subscription button. Thank you guys again so much for watching. My name's Kimchi Chris, and I will see you guys on the next video.